tsunami has already hit. Slow-mo.
I haven't seen it this high in a long, long time.
I'll say, what a mess. First at 5, flooding and rescues on the Oregon coast. The super soaking of rain we've seen this week is causing big problems in some communities. And that includes an RV park that got overwhelmed by rising water. Rescuers had to come in and evacuate people by helicopter and boat. The park is just south of Nescoin in Tillamook County. Mike Benner spent the day on the coast and has the latest on the flooding.
We're along Highway 101 just north of downtown Tillamook. Let me step out of the way and you will notice that it is impassable. There, of course, are detours set up in this area. And while that may be frustrating to drivers, it is a lot worse just south of here. Take a look. This RV park just south of Nescoin, overwhelmed by the rising water from a creek that runs alongside it. Quite the surprise if you ask Sally and Ken Pinkard of Newburgh.
We were planning on staying here for 2 weeks. Yeah, we had reservations for 2 weeks.
Those reservations will have to wait. The U.S. Coast Guard telling us they and partner agencies spent the morning evacuating 20 people and 3 dogs by boat and helicopter. This video is from the Coast Guard. They say 30 people turned down assistance and stayed behind. A real head scratcher to the Pinkards.
It looks more like a tsunami has already hit. Slow-mo. I'm counting the tops of the fence posts around the driveway and I'm going, no, I think our car's going to drown before we get there.
The RV park near Nescoin wasn't the only trouble spot along the northern Oregon coast Friday. We found farm field after farm field underwater.
I think we've had more rain, I feel, than all of last year, just in a few weeks.
Some of the excessive rain he just mentioned flooded a stretch of Highway 101 in Tillamook. It's looking a lot more like a river than a thoroughfare.
We see it every few years. It happened, but this is quite impressive today. I haven't seen it this high in a long, long time.
Back at the RV park near Nescoin, the Pinkards are hoping it's a long time before this happens again. For now, they'll head south.
So where do you guys go now? What's next?
We're going to try Lincoln City if they've got, can do something with the water.
All right, there is no way of telling when this water on Highway 101 will recede. In fact, we've been noticing it creep up little by little. Your best bet is to avoid this area, but if you do have to come out here, build in a little extra time into your travels because you'll definitely hit some detours. Reporting in Tillamook, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
And the coast isn't the only place dealing with flooding problems. We want to go live now to Alma McCarty. She joins us in Southwest Portland. Alma?
Yeah, well, we have flooding issues and just trouble spots all across the metro area. That's something you're going to want to keep in mind if you plan on driving tonight. It started early on the morning commute. This is what it looked like from Drive 8 this morning. Multiple crashes led to traffic issues all over the metro area. This was one of them on the Glen Jackson Bridge. And this is a sight we see often in Portland when we get this much rain. Leaves clogged a storm drain on Southeast 33rd just south of Powell. It flooded the road and one guy put on his rain boots and used a rake in an attempt to clear it.
It's just a problem, so come over, try to put in a little work and make this usable for everyone.
One car also got stuck and 2 Good Samaritans were able to push the woman's car out of the water.
Oh, puddle, it shouldn't be too bad. And then as soon as I realized my bumper was in it a little bit, I tried to back out, but it was too late and I got swept into where he is. And then that was it. I was stuck.
Fire crews eventually put up caution tape to block other drivers from making the same mistake.
This is about as deep as the door of my car.
And take a look at the flooding in Lincoln City. Viewer Jacob Lowen sent us this video. He says water is quickly rising in Siletz Bay, and it's already reached some homes. Hardware stores are selling out of sandbags and sump pumps. This picture has been making the rounds on social media. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office posted it on Facebook. It's an old fire truck in Otis that's almost completely underwater. A little bit east of Lincoln City, our photographer found flooding in Grand Ronde. The Little Nestucca River is over its banks, and we talked with one guy whose property is flooded.
Well, it's been raining off and on all week, but it rained all night and we woke up to this.
If you have any pictures or video of flooding at your house, you can send them over to us here at KGW. If you want to text them, the number is 503-226-5088.
Thank you, Alma. And a number of state parks in Oregon are dealing with flooding issues too. Ecola Park on the coast is closed after a sinkhole appeared in the road. Devil's Lake State Park campground in Lincoln County is flooded and closed. Multnomah Creek is also flooded and is blocking access to Multnomah Falls. The State Forest Service is urging people to put their weekend hiking plans on hold and stay away from the trails near the falls until things dry out. Wow, a scary story in Washington. Two 12-year-old boys were rescued after getting sucked into a storm drain in Federal Way. Police say they found the boys clinging to a ladder in the drain's concrete basin. The boys had been playing in a wooded area when they fell into a nearby flow of storm water caused by all the heavy rain. Wow, that does look scary. They were then sucked into a drainage tube and pulled into the concrete overflow area.
I was holding on to like the entrance of like that tube, but then I let go. And then I ended up in there, grabbed my friend's leg, pulled myself up onto the ladder. We were praying to like Jesus, so I think it was God that saved us.
What sweet boys. So glad they're okay. They are okay, and they're super grateful for the first responders who saved them. One boy did have a cut on his leg, and the other wasn't hurt, thank goodness. As you saw, this weather's caused all kinds of problems around the region. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri now for a look at where we stand right now. Joe, are we going to dry out pretty soon?
Yeah, here in the next couple of hours, we'll be done with the heavy amounts of rain. There still could be some passing showers, but with that said, because of all the rain that we've seen and could see here the next couple of hours, still some watches and warnings. All this green is basically throughout the west side of the state, including basically up and down the Oregon coastline. Flood watches and warnings in effect until the rest of tonight and into tomorrow as well. East side of the state, no watches and warnings. Some of these rainfall amounts, though, are pretty impressive. This is since midnight. You can see over in Portland, almost 1.33 inches. If you combine what we saw tonight, or I should say today and yesterday, we're flirting with almost 3 inches of rain in just the last 48 hours or so. Let's go out to the Oregon coast where you can kind of see how wet it's been over there. Tillamook, you saw well over 1.5 inches of rain. Now, as we go into the later part of your Friday night, we're going to start to see the rain kind of taper off dramatically, really. You can see the tail end of the system is kind of moving in just east of Salem, now over into the Oregon Cascades. Snow level is going to be well above past level, so you won't have any issues traveling over the mountain passes tonight. And then looking at the higher elevations, you can see all that snow. We had a good base just 5 days ago. Now it's gone from all the warm air up there in the higher elevations. Taking a look at the futurecast, so I have this stopped here at 8:30 tonight. We're basically done with all the heavier amount of rain. Then going into tomorrow, some of us will be waking up to partly sunny skies and some areas of fog throughout the metro area. And we stay dry a good part of tomorrow and throughout the daylight hours, but tomorrow night we'll be seeing another round of rain. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, see you then, Joe. Thank you. You can always stay up to date on the weather here on air on KGW.com and with the KGW News app. It includes things like updates on the forecast and traffic maps. You can also submit your weather photos in the app too. We look forward to seeing those. Turning to the pandemic, outside experts and at least one Multnomah County commissioner say the state needs to set clear metrics to determine how long our outdoor mask mandate will stay in place. Oregon is one of only 2 states with a strict statewide mandate for outdoor mask use. The rules require everyone to wear a mask outside if they can't stay at least 6 feet away from others. And that's why fans at big football games or soccer matches still have to wear masks, even though there have been few, if any, COVID cases linked to local outdoor games. Multnomah County Commissioner Sharon Myron, who is also a medical doctor, said the state should drop the outdoor mask mandate now.
Well, from what I can see, when it comes to wearing masks outdoors, the evidence suggests if someone is vaccinated and they're in an outdoor setting, unless it's literally standing room only, there's a very low risk of COVID transmission.
She said those who are not vaccinated should still wear masks both inside and out. Myron also wants the state to set metrics for when all mask use will end. The governor's office said the Oregon Health Authority and Oregon OSHA may develop those metrics in the next couple of months. School districts in the Northwest are dealing with staffing shortages and are having to cancel school because of it. Last night, the North Bend School District called off all classes for Friday, leaving parents scrambling. It's dealing with a substitute staffing shortage and issues with sick calls among its teachers for things like flu, COVID, and colds.
About 20% of our staff out with some kind of either absence, illness, leave request, some kind of, and again, oftentimes we can adjust to that, but we're at a shortage of subs.
In September, Oregon lowered the license requirement for substitute teachers to try to get more people hired. Also, some teachers are simply quitting because of the pressures of the job during the pandemic. In Washington, this issue also affected schools in Seattle, Bellevue, and Kent, which canceled classes today. Those shortages have schools trying to figure out solutions, including offering incentives. Christine Pitawanich checked in with school districts and with the parent who decided to unenroll their child.
My name is Sherry Shrake. I am a mother of a former student at Reynolds High School.
Former student because Shrake just unenrolled her daughter this week.
It came to my attention last week that the staffing shortage is so bad that there are times they don't have substitute teachers and nobody is watching the students.
Shrake's daughter said there'd been at least 10 instances where there was no teacher or substitute in the classroom. Shrake wishes the district would have communicated that to parents.
We entrust them with our kids to teach them, and if they don't have the staff to do that, what are our kids doing in school?
Reynolds School District spokesperson Steve Padilla says the principal assured him that a staff member is monitoring students at all times. And regarding communication,
we can't possibly notify parents, every single time that a teacher is out and that we have to get an administrator.
Padilla says otherwise, that's all they'd be doing. Then last Friday, Shrake's daughter heard a rumor about a possible gun on campus. When Shrake heard nothing from the district, she decided to pull her out of school. Padilla says the rumor was investigated and there was no gun. But like the situation surrounding the substitute shortage, Shrake wanted more communication.
And if they want us to trust them with our kids, they need to be transparent with us, no matter how inconvenient it might be for families. Families deserve to know.
The staffing shortage is an issue across the country, but Padilla says after a job fair last week, the district is working to hire nearly 20 new employees, ranging from bus drivers to substitute teachers. And it appears incentives at other districts might be working. For instance, the Beaverton School District has seen a 10-fold increase in applications for substitute teaching positions. Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.